In this presentation, I will review the second step of your curriculum development project, which is defining your program goals. And for this step, you will create a list of statements that identify what students will be able to do when they have completed your program, or what you hope students will be able to do. And much like the NASB definition of a physically educated child, you'll develop a list of goals that would identify what a student or athlete should look like when they have gone through your entire program. And these statements should cover the broad abilities of students or athletes. Your goals should cover the big picture, the overall picture, and not the specific details of your program. Your goals should address all the different games, sports, the skills, and any activities that you teach or coach throughout your entire program. And this means that your goals will cover all of elementary school, all of middle school, or all of high school. And it must encompass all the grade levels and not only the grade level that you teach. It should also address any behavioral or social expectations that you have as well. Of course, these are the three learning domains related to physical education: psychomotor, cognitive, and affective. And once you begin this step, you'll see how quickly you can create an extensive list of goals that you may want to address. Again, these goal statements are developed for your entire program and not just for one component of it. So brainstorm and begin to create a list of ideas and topics that you feel you can realistically cover and should cover throughout your entire program. So think about all of the things that you want the students to be able to know and do. And here's one of my rare examples. Write down the learning domains that you'll address in your program. Of course, these are, as I mentioned before, the psychomotor, the cognitive, and the affective domains. Then begin to list all of the things that you want your students to be able to do within each domain. And you may include, for example, in the psychomotor domain, catching, throwing, passing, dribbling, jumping rope, manipulating a hockey stick, or any other manipulative, etc. And these are the actual skills that you'll address in your program. For the cognitive domain, you may say something like learning strategy, demonstrating the concepts of offensive and defensive skills, demonstrate an understanding of the rules of a game, explaining how the cardiovascular system works, or even understanding the muscles at work when performing a fitness skill. If it's something that you want your students and athletes to learn and know cognitively, you can include it within this goal list. And then for the affective domain, you may say something like appreciate physical fitness, develop social skills, problem solve, learn conflict resolution, engage in sports or exercise outside of school, among many other things that you can list. As you complete this process, you'll have a list of topics and areas that you can work with. And then you can begin to edit your list and select the topics you like to use to create your program goal statements. And to make your goals student focused, they should all begin with the phrase, all students will be able to. So next, develop a goal statement from the list of things that you have. So if you were developing a goal statement for the psychomotor domain, and since this is addressing the physical skills, one of our goals could say, all students will be able to catch and throw a variety of manipulatives with proper form and accuracy. Now, this is a nice, broad, and general statement we can use for one of our goals. Of course, now you can't use this one in your curriculum because I just stated it. If so, then we'll just say you plagiarized. And we can do the same thing for our cognitive and affective domain list as well. From your cognitive domain list, you can develop a goal to say something like all students will be able to identify the muscles of the body used when performing fitness skills, or explain how the human heart works. And you can pull from your list of affective topics and develop a goal that states something to the example of all students will be able to identify different ways of resolving conflict during team activities. And these are just some examples of how you can develop goal statements that address all of the things that you want your students to be able to do at the end of your program. Again, develop your own. Don't use the ones that I've listed here. I know it sounds like a no-brainer, but I have to say that. So you will develop 10 to 12 program goals depending upon how many people there are in your group. And you want to make sure that each group member has developed an equal amount of goal statements. More than this, and then it gets difficult for me to read and grade and provide meaningful feedback. And realistically, we just don't have enough time to develop more. So we'll keep the limit between 10 and 12. Now, once you've completed your list of goals, you will then develop rationale statements for each one of those goals that you have. So you'll have 10 to 12 goals for your program and 3 rationale statements for each goal. Now, these rationale statements should provide 3 justifiable reasons why each goal should be included in your program. Now, it's important if you're having trouble coming up with at least 3 reasons, you may want to rethink your goal statement. So let's take a look at another example. Let's say for goal number 1, catch and throw a variety of manipulatives with proper form and accuracy. Now, we need to justify the statement and provide reasons why we think it's important enough to include it in our goals within our curriculum. So our first rationale may say something like this. Rationale 1, catching and throwing are basic skills that transfer to many other activities. Rationale 2, catching and throwing can be done at home, encouraging participation in lifetime physical activities. And rationale 3, catching and throwing are skills that will help with the participation on sports teams and club programs and just for recreational enjoyment. So your first goal statement will look something like this. Of course, be sure you develop your own. Do not copy what I have listed here. And you will continue this guideline to develop 3 rationale statements for all of the goals that you've created. And you can see that once this is done, you'll have an extensive list of items, and this is fine. Remember, you are developing a curriculum, hopefully to utilize personally and professionally. You're not just completing this assignment, or I hope that it's not just an assignment for you to complete. Also, keep in mind that this is not a full list of goals that can be developed. Remember, I've limited this, but in a full curriculum, you would have much, much more. And this step should be a collaborative group effort, as I mentioned before. Your group should communicate, evenly disseminate the work, and then bring what you have together from each group member, all of your list of goals, view all of the goals and rationales collectively as a group, and provide some constructive feedback to one another. Select one group member at the end of this to post and complete the list of goals that you have, including all the names of the group members you have there. Also, you'll need to complete the meeting of minutes document that I have posted in Moodle, because this helps me to keep track of how often you've met and who's been doing what and how you're balancing out the workload. So be sure this information is completed. Post your assignment online, and I'll try to provide feedback as soon as possible. Take care, and we'll see you online.